Welcome back to another Cavs game reaction. Game 27, the Cavs picking up their second straight win at home in overtime over the Houston Rockets. Final score of 135 to 130. Scoring definitely not an issue for either team last night. Let me say, my comments yesterday about Sam Merrill aged like milk faster than milk actually takes to expire. I said that the Cavs would probably be hesitant to put him in crucial situations, and then that same evening he's playing in an overtime scenario and balling out in that scenario, with Sam Merrill having what is a career night for him so far, having 19 points in 24 minutes, going 5 of 10 from beyond the arc. And the shots that he made were significant. It's not like he was, just balling out in garbage time or anything. He was hitting some daggers in overtime, which good to see Sam Merrill do that. He was definitely finding a lot of rhythm with his shots yesterday. A guy shooting like that off of the bench can really help if somebody like Max Strus is having a bit of an off night. I don't think Max Strus was bad or anything, but it does help when if somebody like him starts to struggle, a guy like Sam Merrill could potentially come in and become just a catch and shoot machine from beyond the arc. With him rolling and Donovan Mitchell eating up more minutes, I think he got 45 minutes in the game last night. I'm actually not too upset with the lack of Craig Porter Jr. time in this one. I said when I wanted him to get more time, I always said he doesn't have to be the first man off the bench every night, just as long as he's getting minutes and he's getting chances to show himself and continue to play with the mindset that he has on a game-by-game basis, just as long as he's continuing to get out there and get some more experience. I just didn't like how he was being just stapled to the bench for games and games and games at a time. But 9 minutes that Craig Porter Jr. got, I would like to see him usually get more, but I feel like with the circumstances of this game, with Sam Merrill having the night he was having, I don't think it's that big of a deal in this one. The game itself throughout was fairly competitive. Sometimes, the teams would go on runs to get a bit of a decent lead, but that would always come with an answer. There wasn't ever really a time where either team put the other one in a huge hole requiring some kind of massive comeback to force overtime. Just a very spirited back and forth between two teams that were hungry for a win. The game was almost ended in regulation by a Şengün fadeaway, but it bounced a few times off of the rim and out, so a bit of rim luck going the home team's way for Cleveland. The same starting five for the Cavs as it was in the Hawks game, where we had Donovan Mitchell, Max Strus, Isaac Okoro, Dean Wade, and Jarrett Allen. The Rockets were dealing without Amen Thompson, who was still dealing with his illness. Jarrett Allen dealing with a bit of foul trouble throughout the game. He ended with 5 personal fouls. Tristan Thompson getting 18 minutes, and the Cavs sometimes electing for a bit of a smaller lineup where you have Wade and Niang as the front court there. Tristan Thompson going 2 for 8 from the free throw line was also a bit of an issue. He was definitely a liability from the charity stripe. No double-doubles for Cleveland, and the only double-double of the game was Fred VanVleet for the Rockets, going for 27 points and 17 assists, and he was also 2 rebounds short of a triple-double for VanVleet. Rockets offense running a lot through him and his hands. The high point man of the match was Donovan Mitchell, with his 37 points put up on 27 shots. Went 14 of 27 from the floor, 4 of 11 from 3, also had 6 assists and 2 blocks. Donovan Mitchell really utilizing the step back 3 to his advantage last night, made a few off of that move. Tied for the team high in assists for Cleveland was Isaac Okoro, who also had 11 points and 7 rebounds in the game. Okoro, I thought he distributed the ball quite well in the overtime period, which again, like I've said, with Isaac Okoro, usually you're going to expect him to be more of a force on the defensive side of the court. Anything that he can do to make himself more of an offensive threat on a nightly basis is going to be a positive, because what we saw last year when he was in the starting 5 on offense, sometimes it felt like the team was playing 4.5 on 5, where teams just would not respect Isaac Okoro as an offensive threat at all. They would completely sag off of him. And sometimes they were right to do that because Isaac Okoro would just have an ice cold night offensively, and it just wouldn't work. So if Isaac Okoro can, whether it's as a distributor or if he can hit some open corner threes every now and then, whatever he can do to make himself make the defense think about him as an offensive threat, as an offensive player, that's definitely going to benefit the Cavs even more. Karis LeVert didn't really have a great shooting night off the bench. He could have hit a late 3 with the game tied at pretty much near the end of the game on a Cavs possession right before the Şengün miss. It was a wide open look that he just wasn't able to bear. He still put up 12 points, 5 assists, 7 rebounds, and 2 steals, so he did contribute to other areas of the game as well. But with Karis LeVert, you really want him to get that shooting going. That is kind of what the Cavs brought him in to do a few years ago, which is, get that shot going. And it's been hot and cold. Sometimes Karis LeVert, it feels like he can just explode off the bench for 25, 30 points. Other times you get nights like this where he's 1 for 6 from 3, and the shots just are kind of just clanking off the rim every now and then. The overtime period went pretty well for the Cavs. Besides Donovan Mitchell running his arm into the hoop at the end of overtime, he was clutching it for a bit, but post-game he said that he would be fine by their game against Utah tomorrow. So that is encouraging. I hope that's the case, although I really don't want him playing with a legitimate lingering injury, right? Like if this has any risk to become even more of a serious thing, if he plays on it and it gets agitated a bit more, I don't want Donovan Mitchell kind of messing with that stuff. The Cavs already have enough long-term injuries to 2 of their starters already. We don't need to make it a third with Donovan Mitchell as well. The Rockets, they did their job of making the game competitive. I thought, Dylan Brooks actually had a decent game. Didn't even hit anybody in the balls this time against Cleveland, so baby steps forward for him. Şengün is going to want that miss back at the end of regulation, but I feel like he was good forcing the interior for Houston. He had Jeff Green, Eason, and Holiday coming off the bench and all hitting double figures in points. But the Sam Merrill shooting gallery opened up in overtime, and that made the overtime period fairly comfortable for the Cavs. They got out to a bit of a pretty good lead, and the Rockets just weren't able to make up for that. Although at the tail end of overtime, it looked like the Cavs threw a bad inbounds pass that would have cut the lead to 3 points off an easy layup or a dunk, but there was a foul called on that steal, and that was pretty much the end of it. The Cavs, they return to action tomorrow. They're still in Cleveland for their third of 4 games at home, and they will play against the Utah Jazz, as I mentioned, so we'll see how that goes, and that's going to do it for me in this one. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far into the video, feel free to leave a like and a subscribe if you enjoyed it, and like to see more like it. I do cover more teams from Ohio. Maybe you like those videos as well, but once again, thank you for watching. Made it this far. I will see you at the next one.